There's really been 3 days in my life that that are indelibly in my mind, and those are the day Kennedy was killed, the day the Challenger disaster occurred, and of course 9/11. And they're all three were terrible tragedies to our country, and have really been a sad testament to history. And I'm sorry that this has to be an anniversary of 10 years after the 9/11. I wish we could have never had that happen to us.
When President Kennedy was assassinated, I was a student at Davis High School. I remember that the teacher announced what had happened and seemed to be at least as confused and dismayed as we were, and that we were just let out of class. And so I remember walking home, which was a couple of miles, and in kind of a state of shock. And I think the end result of that was, that was also the beginning of the Vietnam era, and I think it just increased my cynicism toward government in general, and my, kind of squashed any idealistic tendencies I might have had at that time.
Well, at the time of Pearl Harbor, naturally, we were all terribly upset. My husband was stationed in Puerto Rico, and they expected all the islands to be attacked at that time, but fortunately they didn't do it. But it was just, the most upsetting thing I know for everybody.
Today, we're going to be introduced to several individuals who have organized events for September 10th and September 11th in memorial of 9/11/01.
Good afternoon. I'm Dave Gear, serve on the Modesto City Council District 2, which includes this building. And I'm so pleased to be here, and I hope everyone will be able to come to one of the three functions that will be going on Saturday and Sunday. I'd like to share with you, as someone who grew up in a military family, whose father and mother were able to visit, along with the rest of our family, the 9/11 site in 2002. It's an incredible memory for me, and I'm sure many others have been able to be there since then. But the 10th anniversary is something that I hope all Modestans and everyone in the surrounding area will be able to remember through these functions that are happening on the 10th and 11th. And it's amazing how much has been put together so quickly to honor everybody. And I hope that the city will be able to better prepare for something similar to this, God forbid, but that we will be able to come through it in a fashion that New York and the New York Police Department, New York Fire Department have been able to come together so well and deal with the aftermath of such a horrible tragedy. Thank you.
So on September 11th, 2001, we were at our house. It was real early, in California. It was earlier, and we were woken up, and it was told by our mom that it was really important. And
she turned the TV on, and I was in 3rd grade, so I didn't really understand what exactly was happening.
We just knew it was a really big attack.
And then they showed on the TV the plane hitting it, and then that kind of freaked me out. And then my mom, she started getting really upset about it. Like, I was still kind of, I don't know what was going on. And then I remember Jeff was freaking out about it.
And then it was the three of us sitting on the couch, and we watched the first tower collapse.
Yeah.
And we had watched the second one collapse, and it was time to go to school. And I think on the radio on our way to school, it was when it hit the Pentagon.
Yeah. And I remember at school, they were playing the news all day at school. I was in my 3rd grade classroom, and I stayed in that classroom all day. My teacher kept the TV on in the corner on all day, and the kids were just talking about it, even though we're young. But they kept it on, I think, in every classroom at our school all day.
My brother Ben lives in New York, and we didn't know if he was dead or alive. And his wife actually still has nightmares of people jumping from the building. And it affected us very much. It still affects us to this day.
I was 21 when 9/11 happened, and what I remember about it, I was a business owner. I had my own coffee shop at the time, and when the news hit, it's kind of like everything stopped for me, for everybody around me, for business, and nothing was really the same for a while afterwards. Everybody was shocked, nobody could believe what was going on, and we were all just kind of walking around in a daze. Me, everybody I worked with, business did not do well for that time or for a good time afterwards. Nobody could really believe what was going on.
Good afternoon. It's truly a pleasure to be here, and I'm grateful to those who have worked to organize this event. A lot of memories in this room for me and in this building, so I'm very grateful to Chief Harden for his participation in this event. My name is Roy Wasden, and as the stake president for our faith in this area, we think it's critical for our community to be prepared for a disaster, for an emergency, as well as to remember what has occurred. The fact that this attack occurred 10 years ago on our nation should help us all recognize the importance of being prepared for any event that could occur in the future. The focus of the event will be to remember, and will be also to help us remember to prepare. We know that as individuals, families, as businesses prepare for an emergency, that when the inevitable emergency comes, that they'll be able to keep their lives together and be able to accomplish much more than they could if they didn't have that preparation in place. We also know that our public safety officials, for the great work they do in a major disaster, would truly be overwhelmed and would look to us as citizens to be sure we were ready to stand as families, as communities, and help one another so that they could go about their jobs without being overly burdened by the problems we had not prepared for. So this will be a great opportunity for everyone to come, get ideas on how to be prepared, and to make our community stronger and more vibrant. I hope to see you there. Thank you.
I was getting ready to take my daughter out to school, and that's when I heard on the television that, you know, an airplane had hit the Twin Towers. I was like, is this a stunt? It was disbelief. I just really could not believe it. And I just kind of stopped in my tracks, and I just stood there, and I'm like, is this real? And she hates to be late for school, but she's kind of pulling me along, and she saw I was just standing there. I was like, and then I saw the tower tumble. I'm like, I mean, it was just a somber moment for me. It wasn't real, and it was real. And it was shocking once I knew that it was real. And then when I saw the second tower tumble too, it's just hopeless. It was just a helpless feeling that I had, that how could this be happening here to us?
On 9/11, I was watching TV, as many other people were, and I was astounded what I saw. And at first I thought, this possibly couldn't happen. How it's affected my life and the life of others, it's changed us forever. The whole industry of Homeland Security sprung up around that event. People, I think, traded in liberty in many instances for safety, and that kind of trade is dangerous if it goes too far. But it really tells us that public safety has become the #1 concern of this country.
Good afternoon. I'm Mike Harden, the police chief with the Modesto Police Department. Every generation remembers exactly where they were at when tragedy struck. The World War II generation remembers when Pearl Harbor was attacked. The baby boomer generation remembers when President Kennedy was tragically assassinated. And the current generation remembers exactly where they were at on that fateful day, September 11th. The community has organized an event on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 4 at the Sheriff's Regional Training Center to remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice in service to their local community, their state, or their nation. Over 3,000 Americans lost their life on September 11th, and Since then, 6,000 members of the armed forces have lost their life in defense of our country and to free it from the terrorist tragedies or the terrorist potential. So this day serves as a day for us to remember those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, but also to prepare for the eventual future terrorist event or natural disaster. It's important to note that government will most likely not be available to respond to everyone's needs within 3 days. Those will have to be very sufficient on their own, and that's what this event will serve to do. So we'll remember those who've served, those who continue to serve, and those who we can prepare for in our community. So this is a terrific event. On Sunday, September 11th, the Pentecostal Church and the Revival Center will also have an event honoring those who've served, a 10-year anniversary event where myself, Sheriff Adam Christensen, and Fire Chief Mike Krause will speak. So it's a terrific opportunity. This is a great community. We'd like to see everybody come out on Saturday, September 10th from 8 to 4 at the Sheriff's Regional Training Center, or perhaps at the Revival Center in downtown Modesto on September 11th. Thank you very much.
Well, when the World Trade Center went down, I was in the hospital visiting my dad, and he had saw it actually, blow up and everything. And he was just, the look on his face, he was just, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it was happening either. I thought it was something like a movie, and then I realized that it really went down.
I was still kind of far away, but it was kind of like shocking and numbing. It was really strange.
My name is Jeremiah Williams, and I'd like to start with this quote. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty. Of thee I sing, land where my fathers died, land of thy pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. 9/11/01 was a tragedy in our country, and there were brave men that fought to save, to help those that were maimed, those that were in dire needs of help at that particular day. 9:53 that day, the second plane hit that tower. Yes, it shattered the lives of all of us, and it will forever stay in our memory. We are honored as the Revival Center United Pentecostal Church to take the day, 9/11/2011, to celebrate, not only so, but to give the love and respect for all of those who have lost their lives under that situation. That will be Sunday, 10 o'clock, 825 7th Street. We will have families there that would represent all the first responders, whether it be Highway Patrol, Sheriff, Police, Ambulance, Army, Navy, National Guard, etc. We would want you to come out and participate with us as we honor those fallen and those who are still serving our community today. We'll be able to speak to their men and women who daily are fighting the fight of freedom for our country, this wonderful land which we call the United States of America. So please come and join us on that day, which will be Sunday, 9/11/11, 825 7th Street at 10 a.m. And let us together memorialize the thing and reflect and remember what took place on that day. Thank you very much.
I think all of us realize how it's not just the United States. We have people that just don't understand our way of life, our way of government, our way of being free, and it makes us look over our shoulders at times that we shouldn't have to. But unfortunately, that's the way the world is today.
We're not that well liked, and we are pretty vulnerable despite our economy and power in the world and influence, that somebody with relatively little funding and little backing can do so much damage to the United States.
The feeling I have now, I still think about that. And I don't, it's a feeling that I don't think I'll ever get over. I don't think I'll ever really get over. Because I actually went down to Ground Zero, and it really hit me hard then to see what a humongous area it was, and how many people must have died there, and what was left.
Hi, I'm Tani LaBavera with 511 Tactical. I'm the PR manager there, and I work for CEO Dan Costa. He's a local businessman, and he's known for having a very generous and charitable heart. And the 9/11 collection was born out of a logo because of 3 first responders on the East Coast that day at September 11th, 01. And the 3 first responders came to Dan and said, we want a 10th anniversary logo. We'd like to put it on your items to sell. But Dan refused to sell it. This wasn't a type of a event we wanted to market or to make money off of. And so what was decided was that we would partner with 3 different foundations. One was the FDNY for fire and FDNY for EMS and for the National Fallen Law Officers Memorial Foundation, and we would donate 100% of the profits of the sale of the 11 items that this logo has gotten onto. And so that's where the logo having a public safety brunch on Sunday, September 11th from 10 to 2. So I would say you can drop in any time, so maybe go to his event first downtown. And if you're a public safety officer or public safety personnel and their family, please come down to the brunch. We're going to have, we'll serve you a meal, and we'll actually have an event at high noon that will include a moment of silence. We'll have the bagpipes and honor guard playing, and we'll actually, raise the flag. And Huff Construction has also graciously donated their time and materials to make a 4D 9/11 numbers that they're going to raise on Saturday, and we're going to cover it with thousands of patches that we've requested from departments all over the country. And so that's actually being created and will be there on 4300 Spires Way. And once again, that event is from 10 to 2, and we invite all public safety personnel to RSVP if they can at www.511tactical.com.
I'd say that 9/11 is kind of made, changed me into, there was a time when me and everybody else probably believed that, nothing bad could ever happen to us, that we were pretty safe and, we didn't have to worry as much, and that changed in a big way, seeing something like that happen, like in America. I've never, in my lifetime, I'd never experienced anything like that before, and, afterwards it does make you kind of a little bit paranoid. Kind of makes you worry about the future a lot more.
It's something that you look upon all the time, and I think really now growing up, it's even like I'm a psych major, and the way people even look at people from the Middle East, I think, it's like
they're
prejudice.
hesitant. Yeah.
They're hesitant. They can be friendly and nothing wrong, but the way that people just kind of look, I think,
or the way people act when they're going to go onto a plane, the way security looks at you, how securities in airports have increased.
And it's really just affected, like, the privacy, and just the way people interact now. It's really hesitant and everything. But even being young and our generation about September 11th, I think it's something that we'll always remember.
This is the original paper the next morning of 2001 after the towers had tumbled. And I got this from my husband, from his hospital bed when he was reading it.
My name is John Openshaw. I am a co-chairman of the Remember 9/11 and Prepare. This was started about a year ago under the direction of Roy Wasden, who gave me the assignment to meet with Police Chief Harden, to sit down and organize a preparedness fair for the city of Modesto. Since then, it has escalated even more so to the county, where we've involved Sheriff Adam Christensen as well and their department. And it is going to be taking place out at the Sheriff's Training Facility on Cornucopia Way off of Crow's Landing Road on 9/10, starting at 8 o'clock in the morning and ending at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, with various activities that will be taking place during the day. It will be fun for all. Everyone will come and learn. The youth will be there. We have invited schools to come and sing and participate. All this is under the direction of our civic leaders to recognize them and their service within the community, to let them know that even though 10 years has gone, it has not been forgotten, and that they are still a part of our heart and the tragedy that took place on that tragic day. Without having to go through much more, I'll turn the time over to Cindy Decker, who is also a co-chair, and let her explain a little bit. She designed the logo that we use, the flag, as well as the Remember 9/11 Prepare. Thank you.
My name is Cindy Decker, and I am so grateful to be part of this committee. 10 years ago, a lot of people were hurt. Many were killed, and we want to remember and commemorate what they did. 343 firemen from New York lost their lives, and today some of us are wearing a lanyard with individual pictures on our chests. During the event on September the 10th, we're having a 5K memorial run or walk. You don't have to be a runner to come and participate, but everyone who comes to participate in that run or walk will wear the picture and the name of one of those 343 firemen on their chest in honor of their sacrifice, what they did for the rest of us. We want to have an act, some kind of an action that will help us to remember them. And this is one of the activities we have planned that will help us remember who lost their lives. There are so many others. If you'll visit our website, www.911prepare.org, there's a schedule of events. There are, it will describe where at the sheriff's facility each event will take place and what's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of food. There's going to be a lot of information about preparing for future disasters, and it's just going to be a great day. We hope to see you there. Thank you.
Thank you for being on watch with me, Athens Abell.
It makes me realize that life is precious and that you better enjoy every minute of it and tell the people that you love them.
This is Chance happening at Castle Air Force Museum, standing in front of a F-4E Phantom II. Saw extensive service in the Vietnam War throughout the 60s and 70s, capable of reaching speeds of up to 1,500 miles per hour. Here I am standing in front of a Lockheed P-80 Shooting Star fighter jet, flown during the Korean War and designed by Clarence Kelly Johnson, who designed the U-2 spy plane and the SR-71 Blackbird. When not manufacturing flying discs, Avro manufactured the Vulcan bomber, went into operation in 1952, and was finally phased out in the 80s after seeing action in the Falklands War of 1982. Here I am in front of Lockheed's SR-71 Blackbird. Flew extensive missions over Vietnam and Libya in 1986 and is capable of flying from Los Angeles to Washington, D.C. in 64 minutes.
Difference a day made, 24 little hours, brought the sun and the flowers, where there used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear, today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights were through the year since you said you were mine. What a difference a day made. There's a rainbow before me. Skies above can be stormy. Since that moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when you find romance on your menu. What a difference a day made, and the difference is you.
Thank you for granting us an interview today.
Not a problem.
Tell me a little bit about your airplane.
Old Gloria is a North American B-25 that was in World War II and was in Italy for 9 months. It's one of 3 airplanes still flying with battle history. There's only 42 flying. Out of the 42, probably only 35 still available to fly.
How long have you had your plane?
I've owned this airplane 10 years. This airplane was built in 1944. I'm the pilot, as well as a friend of mine, Stu Eberhardt. We both fly together with my crew, who maintains it. And every Saturday, this is what we pretty much do. If we're not at an air show, then we're working on the airplane.
About how much does it cost to maintain this plane?
More than I make. No, it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
It costs a tremendous amount of money. It's $2,500 an hour to fly it, and plus. So we'll just keep doing it till we can't afford to do it anymore. No, we'll just keep it a long time.
Thank you very much.
No, thank you. Very good.